The brand new FujiFilm X-T100 versus the X-T20. Which one is right for you? Hey everybody, welcome back to the vlog. So once again, we're here on the comfy couch and today is a FujiFilm day. We're going to be talking about the FujiFilm X-T100 that just came out a couple of days ago and kind of compare it to the X-T20 and find out which one is right for you and why. So before we get into it, I want to send out my condolences to John Bain's family. John Bain went by Totalbiscuit here on YouTube. He was a YouTube creator for years and years and years. He had 2.2 million subscribers, and what he was a commentator and a reviewer of games, of software. And he was just amazing at it. At the time when I first started out this, way back 6-7 years ago now, doing podcasts with Trevor Current during the Digital Photography Cafe, I used to listen to him faithfully every single week. And he had a series called WTF Is. So it was WTF is Warcraft, WTF is Fortnite, whatever it was. And he would really drill down these games and he would play them and he would commentate on them and he would let you know why they were good and why they weren't good. Now, a lot of the game companies hated him and they loved him. If it was a good review, they loved him. If it was a bad review, he was Satan. Okay? He was just that type of guy. He really wasn't swayed by a specific manufacturer or gaming house. And that's really what I looked up to. And that was kind of the way I took on this persona as who I am here on YouTube. I try to always be as unbiased as possible. You know I'm not a fanboy, even though I am a Canon shooter for 20 years. I try to stay unbiased. And if it's a Canon camera, I will review it hard. Sometimes even harder than a Sony or a Fuji or a Nikon. So if you are like me that have listened to Totalbiscuit in the past, there is currently a GoFundMe, gofundme.com/Totalbiscuit. Head over there. We're trying to raise about $200,000 for the family, and I think by the time this video goes live, it's going to be in excess of $200,000, which is great. We all know YouTubers or anyone that does this for a profession or a living, there is no medical, healthcare. There is no, golden parachute. Okay, there is nothing at the end of the road. We do it because we love doing it, and any type of monies that we get would be advertising or sponsorship money or whatever. So if you guys want to support the family, like I said, go and head over to the gofundme.com/Totalbiscuit. So let's get right into it, guys. The X-T100 versus the X-T20. What is the differences? What will you like? What won't you like? What will work for your style of shooting? Now, let me start out by saying where it fits, I think, in their lineup. I think that the A5 is their first entry level, and then comes this camera. So it's right after entry level. It's still an entry level camera. Then comes the T20. That's the one that we're talking about also today. Then the E3, then the T2, which we talk about all the time, and then the Pro 2, and then finally the XH1, which just came out a few months ago. That is their high-end offering. So now I know the specs are always boring, but we have to look at the specs because the specs really tell you what a camera is going to be able to do and not do. Now, of course, when you do some real world testing, things might change up a little bit and there might be some caveats, but for the most part, specs are specs. So let's check out these specs. The T20 and the T100 both have 24 megapixel sensors and they both shoot 200 to 12,800 ISO. Now where things differ here is the T20 has their famous X-Trans sensor. Now some people like X-Trans, some people don't, but it does have it in it, whereas the brand new T100 does not have the X-Trans sensor. It has just a standard CMOS, a bare array sensor just like every other camera out there, which is kind of strange, but so be it. Now, also there's a difference in the autofocus points. The T20 has 325 autofocus points, whereas the new T100 only has 91 autofocus points. Also, the T20 has just a simple tilt back screen, whereas the brand new T100 has a fully articulating back panel. Some people call it the selfie panel, the one that flips forward like I'm using here on the Canon 80D. Very, very good for doing any kind of vlogging. Now, continuous shooting, continuous drive mode. The T20 does up to 8 frames per second, whereas the new T100 only gets up to 6 frames per second. Where things also differ is in 4K. The T20 will do 4K all the way up to 30 frames per second. Let's call it 29.97. So it also does 24 frames per second. The brand new T100 only does 15 frames per second at 4K. So at that point, it's not a 4K video camera, in my personal opinion. Moving on, 1080p, both will go all the way up to 60 frames per second for, call it slow-mo or semi-slow-mo. Next, mic ports. They both have mic ports. They both do not have headphone jacks. Now, as far as the battery life, they both use the same battery, but the brand new camera will shoot all the way up to 450 frames per second, whereas the X-T20 will only do 350 shots with the same battery. Now, price difference, the T20 is $899, whereas the new T100 is $699. So now, looking at the differences between the two, in my personal opinion, $200 difference between the X-T20 and the brand new T100. For me, I would spend the $200 and get the T20 only if you want to shoot with an X-Trans sensor, you want to shoot photo, and if 4K is important to you. Now, if, for example, you're a YouTuber, right, or a vlogger, or if you want to do selfie type of shots, then I would say the X-T100 is your camera because you have that fully articulating back panel, number one, which is a godsend if you're trying to do videos like we're doing right here to make sure that you're in focus. And also, it's going to be able to do 1080p at 60 frames per second. So it's going to be good enough for doing 1080p. So that's kind of my idea when it comes to the two cameras. I personally would probably go with for $200, the X-T20, because I feel that it's more of a prosumer type of camera, even though it is still entry level. So, what do you guys think? Do you like Fujifilm's brand new T100? Is it something that you would get for example, your camera bag as just to go traveling with? Is it something that is not on your radar at all? Normally, I don't talk about consumer-based cameras, but since this is a Fuji camera, and I really do think that Fuji is really going to step it up in the next year, I wanted to cover it. I think that the T3 that will come out soon, hopefully, is going to have this articulating back panel, just like you're seeing now on this T100. That is going to be good. Really, really good. And I think moving forward, all of their pro-level cameras are going to have this articulating back panel. So I look at these cameras more as roadmaps because me, as someone that does commentary, I always have to read between the lines, or as I call it, read the tea leaves. I don't get just information from the companies. I have to distill it based on what I'm seeing coming out from the different lines, the different camera manufacturers. So anyways, guys, that is it. That is the T100. My thoughts on it in comparison to the T20. What do you guys think? As always, put those comments in the comment area below. Don't forget to smash that subscribe button so you can get all my content when it becomes available, and click the bell icon so when it is available, you will be notified of it. And finally, head over to my website, JCristina.com, where you can find all of the photography tools I've invented for you and me over the years, and hopefully there's something there that you might like, and if there is, please pick it up and support me. Once again, my condolences go out to the Baines family for their loss. Hope to see you guys in the next vlog. Take care, guys, and happy shooting.